What is up, Bible Baddies? It's your girl, Dom. And unfortunately, our co-host, Audra, is out of town for this episode. But I have included a very special guest, Taylor Wilson.
Hey. Ooh. Hey, girl. So happy to be here.
Welcome to the podcast, you little baddie.
Ooh, okay, baddie.
So, little backstory on Taylor. We actually worked together at eBay. She and I hit it off right off the bat, honestly, when I first started working there.
Yeah, it was pretty instant. Honestly, weird, but like so instant, and I wouldn't have had it any other way, honestly.
Yeah, it was like what? I think it was like our first or second lunch together.
I think it was the first. Like, it was your first day, and then we literally sat down in the cafeteria together and then just talked for like 2 hours. Like, we shouldn't have taken that long of a lunch, but we just couldn't stop.
Yeah. So I pretty much kind of shared a lot of my testimony with Taylor. And then it was kind of eerie because you had a very similar story to me, but a different outcome.
Yes, different outcome.
Yes.
Very different.
Very, very different, involving your fiance.
Yes.
So I know we're talking about 1 Corinthians chapters 7 and 8, and I thought it would be really cool to bring her on because Taylor kind of recently got engaged.
Yes, it's been about 10 months now almost. Yeah, it's almost coming up on a year. Time is flying so fast. I literally can't even believe it when I say that.
I can't believe it when you say it either.
Yeah.
That was 10 months ago?
Yeah, it was the end of October last year, and now we're already in the end of August.
Yeah, you're right. It's been about a year.
Yeah, it's so fast.
Time is flying.
I mean, I've known you for over a year now, and it's literally crazy. I feel like we just started working together, but I also feel like I've known you my whole life at the same time.
Yes.
Like, it's one of those friendships where it's like I can already tell you everything, and I feel like I already know everything about you, even though we've literally only known each other for a year.
A year. Yeah, that's crazy. I love it because I think after my second or first day, I called my mom because I had a best friend in kindergarten. I think I told you this. And I was like, oh my gosh, do you remember my best friend in kindergarten? Like the little short blonde girl, Katie Schwartz? My mom's like, yeah. I was like, I met the better version of her at work. And I was like, I already know we're going to be besties because X, Y, Z. She's like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. So,
aw, that's so sweet. No, I was just so happy to have you because we were stuck in an office full of men. Mm-hmm. And I mean, I love the boys too, but like, I just needed my girl at work to keep us sane. Like, I was really losing it there for a second.
Yes, need a little bit more of estrogen in the office. So, Taylor's engaged.
Woo!
How did Tony do it? Tell us all about it.
Okay, backstory about me. I'm from Northeast Ohio, born and raised there, been there my whole life. I've only been in Texas for about 3 years now, actually. It's just coming up on my 3-year anniversary here. Oh. But so me and my fiance, Tony, we met in Ohio. He is from Maryland, but he went to school in Ohio. We went to the same college and surprisingly did not meet until after I graduated from college. He was still in his senior year. Even though he's older than me, he was an engineering major, so he had a 5-year degree due to having an internship for over a summer and having to do so many internships for the years. Like, those engineers really put in the time. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so we met in Ohio, and then we moved to Texas together for his work. Actually had a wedding back there with friends that was in October of last year. So we decided to just make it a point to be able to see both of our families at once because we're only in the Northeast for maybe now once a year at this point. So we decided to fly to Maryland to stay with his family for a night or two. And then they were gracious enough to let us borrow their car. And we were driving to Ohio because it's a 5-hour drive versus a 20 from Texas. So let's see as much family as we can. And he booked us a surprise Airbnb in West Virginia. I didn't know anything other than we were staying in West Virginia. That's all he gave me. So we road tripped there. And then we went on this beautiful hike in Harpers Ferry, West Virginia. If you're there, go see it. It's beautiful. We're at this overlook. I had thoughts that it might have happened during this time just because we were seeing both of our families in person. Mm-hmm. We had already been dating for 3-4 years at that time. I was like, we've talked about it. I hope it's going to happen soon. This would just be the most optimal time in my mind. So we're there. I'm kind of going up the hike, like looking around, like, is there a photographer over my shoulder? Like, where are we going? Is there someone here? I was like looking at everyone walking on this hike. I was like, there has to be one. Like, why would we not do it if he's going to do it? We get to the top. There's no one up there. So it's just me and him just looking at this overlook, just like enjoying the view in the moment, sitting there. And I'm just like, my heart was racing, like hoping it was going to be in this exact moment because it was so beautiful. I was like, if he doesn't do it here, like, it's okay. I love him anyway.
I'm going to shove him off this cliff.
I'm going to push him off right now. No, because also in my head, all I knew about was the Airbnb. So in my head, I'm also like, okay, like he's probably going to do it at the Airbnb. I'm like, he probably messaged the host, like got those big balloons, like made it a whole candlelit thing. Like that's where my mind went. So I wasn't like so set on the hike. But once I got there, I was like, wait, this is really beautiful. Like, I really hope he does it here. So we're sitting for a while, and then I'm like, okay, we've been up here for like 20 minutes and he hasn't done it yet. So maybe I'm delusional. And then he's like, all right, let's hike down the hill now. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess it's not happening here. Take like 2 steps in front of him right when my hopes are down. He grabs my hand, turns me back around, and he's down on one knee. And I start crying my eyes out of excitement. It was just so perfect. And he said the sweetest things to me. And of course I said yes.
Yay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then as I'm crying, I like look over my shoulder, and to my surprise, there was a photographer there who caught the whole moment on camera. And then we did a beautiful photo shoot on the way down of this mountain in the fall colors in West Virginia. So it was just the most perfect thing. I couldn't imagine it any other way. And I was just staring at my ring for the entire 2-hour hike down this fucking mountain. I was just staring at my ring down this mountain. And it was just the most picture perfect thing I could imagine. And we actually made such good friends with our photographer that he came out to dinner with us that night after. No, it was really sweet. He like just became like our friend. Like he was just giving us the perfect photo shoot I could dream of. And now I have 300 photos of this most magical day.
Honestly, those photos were gorgeous when you showed me.
Oh, thank you.
I love them. And the ring, like your ring inspo. So just to, let me see it real quick.
Yes, take a visual.
Rectangular, right? Is that the cut? What's the cut?
Hang on, I'm looking this up. It's a radiant cut.
Radiant, yes.
It's a radiant cut. So it looks like a long rectangle, and it sits up pretty high because it's a little bit of a big rock, if I do say so myself.
It is a big rock.
And then the band is surrounded by smaller diamonds throughout. So like just like the entire ring and band and all just sparkles so insanely, and yes. I catch myself staring at it too often.
I stare at your ring too often. Like, I'm serious. It is so pretty. And it's cool because, like, the way the diamonds on the sides are cut, it's, like, very different than the radiant. Those are almost marquise. Like, they almost look...
Like, there's, like, 2 circular diamonds and then, like, 2, like, oval-looking cuts around it, surrounding it as well. I'm just in awe of it. I love it. I did pick it out myself, if I don't want to brag, but I did pick it out. But I never saw it actually, like... in person before it was on my finger. Like we went into the store and we like got a design, and I was like trying different diamond sizes on the band. And my fiance thought, I'm so happy we did, because my fiance was gonna get an insane looking rock that would have looked huge on my tiny hand. I have very small hands, and it would have looked gaudy, and I just would not have been me. So thank God I was able to pick it out with him to get a size that is still showing off, but it looks good on my hand instead of gaudy and huge. And that's just not me. Like, I like a little bit of a show, but like not to the point where it's like I'm afraid to like lift my hand off the ground, that it's gonna like knock into the walls as I'm like entering the room.
Yeah. No, I love it. It fits you perfectly.
Oh, thank you.
Tony did a good job.
Tony did so good.
/ you.
Oh, thank you.
But he did a good job because he listened and he got it.
Yes, he listened and he bought it the next day because they didn't have it. He had to fly this diamond in from California.
Wow.
Yes, I didn't know that was a thing.
That is no joke. Aw.
Get that perfect size for me.
Oh yeah, girl. That's amazing. How's the engagement life been?
Honestly, it's been pretty much the same. Like we've just kind of been like living in the moment, enjoying it. Like right after we got engaged was like back-to-back holidays, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, just trying to see family when we can. And then we're both very busy. Like we have pretty prominent careers right now, so we're kind of just like living our lives we're just trying to enjoy it. Like it's really hard because I do kind of fall into comparison at times with like other friends who have gotten engaged around the same time, who I feel like are ahead of me now. It's trying to like make me think of getting into like a race mentality when I'm really trying to not think about that, because it's like our journey, our time. There's no specific time that it's supposed to happen. It was hard at first to like not think of it that way, because I have so many other friends and people around on social media being like, oh my God, we got engaged. And now like 6 months later, like the wedding is already happening. And it's like, well, 6 months later for me, haven't changed.
Right.
Like we live together, we have our dogs, our lives, like we're just enjoying the moment with our friends and like not trying to put pressure on it.
Right. I think it's like so natural for us to compare, but then I have to remind myself like comparison is the thief of joy. It's like, nope, I got to enjoy my beautiful ring, my beautiful fiance, like it's just like, it's so hard. But then at the same time, it's like everyone has such a beautiful journey on how they're going to get to their wedding day. And I think everyone's is so different. Our first Tuesday treasure this season, they got engaged after a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang, they must have really known when they knew, man.
But they were like, when you know, got engaged and then like married very shortly after. But I'm like, everyone's love story is so unique and precious and so different. And I love it.
For sure. Yeah, no, I wouldn't change anything. Like, I don't feel like any type of way to know that we haven't really gotten too far into it yet. Like, we're touring venues now, and it's like, I'm just so excited for like the process to keep going. I'm so excited to marry this man. Like, it's not that I'm like trying to like wait to do any of the process before it. It's just like, I'm so excited, but like, I'm also just trying to enjoy our lives while we're here. Like, we're only going to be fiancés for this part in our lives. Like, we might as well enjoy it while we're in it.
I love that. No, that's so true. So I think what's cool about you is that, so you didn't grow up Christian.
No,
right?
I did not. My parents are not religious at all. Okay. I think I had been in a church maybe 5 times before I was 21, like before I went to college. I am the only child in my family who was baptized. So I think my parents tried.
You were baptized?
Yes, I
didn't
was.
Know that.
Yeah, I was the only one of my siblings. I have 3 younger brothers. So I was the first and the only one who did get baptized, even though my parents are not religious at all. So I think I was in the church for the baptism, and then I never went back again with them.
Why did they baptize you? Do you know?
I honestly have no idea. My parents had me very young.
Okay.
I very much think I was not an accident, but I don't think I was fully planned in their timeline.
Okay.
They were high school sweethearts, so they had already been together for a long time, so it wasn't like a one night stand sort of situation. Like, they were already together and they had me young, so I think they just were looking for help anywhere at that point because they didn't have great jobs. They didn't grow up amazing. Like, they didn't have a lot going for them. So I think once they had me, they were just trying to do the best that they could think of. And when you're so young and you're having a child for the first time, you're a kid yourself. You have no idea what you're doing. So I think they were just trying to look for anything or try to do the best they could. And that's what they thought was the best for me at the time.
Dang, I did not know that. That's really cool though.
Yeah. Like, I look back now and I like picture myself if I was that young and I had a child when they had me, I would have no idea what to do. I would be a mess, and to have like nowhere and no direction, no help at all. I don't think they're not perfect. No one is perfect. Right. They did the best they could. So that's all I can ask for. They gave me a roof over the head and got me to where I am today. So I'm thankful. It's weird. I don't know. Families are hard, but I love them for who they are.
Oh, absolutely. And now your fiance did grow up in the church, right?
Yes, he did grow up in the church. He went to so many church camps growing up. He was Sunday school pretty often. His family is a little more in touch with it. They are Lutheran. Okay, yeah. I'm not sure how the disciplines differ, honestly.
Yeah, honestly, it's all about details.
Yeah.
There's so many different denominations. Like, you got Lutheran, Catholic, Methodist, and I'm like, at the end of the day, like, I love Jesus. I believe in Jesus. Like,
I don't know. I just want everyone to be able to believe who they want to believe in. As long as they're not harming themselves or others, I don't judge anyone for how they feel or what they believe.
So I think that's what's awesome about bringing you on. And I don't mean this in any bad way. It's like,
you're okay.
You're not labeled, quote, Christian. Like, you don't call yourself a Christian. You wouldn't say, like, your identity is in Christ, would you? Like, that's not
really, no. Okay. I have, me and my fiance, I do go to church with him at times when he wants to, just because I want to support him. I want to get more into understanding on how he grew up and what he believes in, and just kind of get like more, just as close as we can to him. Like, honestly, like, I just want to be with him all the time and just like feel how he feels. Yeah. So I think it was just kind of like me trying to support him and what he wants to do. Yeah. Granted, we aren't there every week. Like, I think it just depends on how busy we are that week. Like, we are really just trying to live in where we are and just enjoy our lives as we are now. I think in the future, like, if we decide to have kids later, I think he will probably want them to be more into the church. And I want to be the supportive mom. I want to be there. Yeah. Like, wherever he wants our kids to go. And we'll obviously talk about it, but like, we're very much aligned on how our futures want to look. So I feel like we're probably going to get more into more of a Christian lifestyle too. We're going to go ebb and flow. Like, I feel like it's just going to change how we change as we grow.
Well, I will say the thing I love about you and Tony the most is that I feel like within this last year, I've learned a lot through your guys' relationship. Aww. And I don't know if I've told you this or not, but just in conversations that we have, the loyalty you have for Tony, the patience, like, and I mean that in the best way.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
The love, the peace, the patience. I mean, I've learned a lot, even where I went wrong by looking at you guys. So for example, if I ask Taylor, I'm like, hey girl, let's go shopping. Like, let's drink some wine. Let's go shopping. Let's go have fun. She always makes sure to talk to Tony. Like, hey, let me make sure it's cool with Tony before I go. And at first I was like, like, I don't do that with my boyfriend. Like, I just go, right? Like, I don't ask for like quote permission, or like, I'm like, I'm just going to do me. Right. But then I learned through you, truly what you do is so healthy. And the way you communicate with Tony, I was the one who's selfish. Like, and like, I learned through you where I was wrong in my past relationships, which is like kind of weird. I don't know if I've ever told you that, but I was like, wow, like that's really healthy. You prioritize your person, and like you make sure like, hey, it's not like quote asking permission. Like he's not controlling, like he's not gonna be like, no, Taylor, you can't. But it's just like the aspect of respect that like I lacked in my previous relationships. And I feel like in a lot of different ways, I see that through you guys.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like I definitely had to learn through our past relationships in the past as well. Like I feel like with Tony, this is the most healthy communication I've ever had. And it's the front that we both made it such an apparent point to begin with. Like we started out on the point being like, we have to have open communication. Communication is so important. That's what everyone who you ask what's their best relationship advice, almost 9 times out of 10, they're going to say you have to have good communication. And like she said, like I do always want to like bring it up to him, like if I'm doing anything. And it's more of just to like know we're on the same page. Like it's never asking for permission, like you said.
Right.
Like he's never going to tell me no. Like it's more of just me telling him like, hey, I'm going to go do this, just to give him like the idea. Because also my fiance, I am so lucky, he does cook a lot. So I never want to like leave work and not tell him if he's making me a nice meal at home. I always want to be there and have him be able to enjoy that with him. Right. Because he does have a very adamant career as well. He is very busy. So I just value the time that we have together when we do. Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree on the communication aspect. Like I feel like this is the best communicator I've ever been. Like I used to not be a very good communicator in the past either. And it took me a while to understand that even if it's uncomfy, it's better to just say it than to like let it fester inside you, and then your brain can start going in so many different ways and twisting it and turning it and making it think it's so much more of a big thing than it was, when in reality 2 days ago you could have just sat down and said, hey, this X, Y, and Z made me upset. And instead you wait 3 days and now it's X, Y, Z, everything else you can think of. I'm so upset, this is the biggest thing that's ever happened to me, when in reality it's more of like, hey, this was something so small. Right. Rather be a little uncomfy for 5 minutes than have to turn into a bigger deal or argument 3 days later. Right. And I think that's the beauty of it, is that your guys' communication, you're just like so honest, open, transparent, and it's beautiful to see. You're one of my friends that truly embodies, and like, not to label you Christian, like what a true Christian is. Like I know Taylor, for me, like she looks out for me. Like she's always trying to set me up with men, like decent Christian men. Taylor's also loyal, you're patient. Like you truly embody the fruits of the spirit that like God calls us to be as Christians. And so like, even though I know you're not like quote tethered to it, I can see that you are such a beautiful soul, and I can see how God has worked throughout your life. And I'm almost like, wow, like Taylor's such a beautiful person, and has been molded in this way. And so I just love that you're here. I love to have you on. I think it's going to be super fun and unique to like truly dive into Corinthians 7, where it talks about marriage and like you're about to be married. And so having the perspective that's like, hey, like the Bible says this, but like maybe like this is a little rusty, or like, hey, like I don't really agree with that. So I just like love having you on. I think I'm just happy you're here. Oh, well, I'm so happy to be here. I'm so honored to be a part of this. So anyone forgive me if I do butcher a few things here or there. I will try my best to not disagree, but kind of like just be honest in how I perceive it from reading it for the first time. And I think it'll be a fun give and take to hear like your interpretation of it, going through it a few times and like having a better like kind of understanding, or being able to like interpret it in more of an actual, more endowed Christian. Is that the term? Yeah, I think so. Sure. Well, yeah, more endowed Christian than from someone who is more novice. Yeah. When you even said earlier how you go to church like for Tony, right? Like in a sense, like I just feel like that's such a great example of like how women can be in a marriage. Like a lot of it's give or take, right? And so it's like, hey, he wants to go to church, and like you're willing to be like, okay, absolutely, like let's go, even if like maybe
I don't know, you're not in the mood, or you're like, I don't want to wake up early, or like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's like the beauty of it too.
Yeah, and it's just like, I want to support him in this way. If he wants to go and think it's going to better our relationship, who am I to say it's not? Like, I want to go and support. I want to listen. I want to try to learn if it's going to better. I'm always trying to better myself, no matter what direction it's in. And I feel like he gives me the same respect. If there's something that I want to go and do, I want him to be supportive of me too and be there for me along the way. So I feel like it's just very much, I don't know, I always think of it, like you said, it's a give and take. Like sometimes I have 20% I can give one day, so he's going to pick up some slack, and vice versa. Like if he's having a bad day or it's been a long day, I want to be there and do my best to support him. Like we can both be tired, but like I'll always pick up the slack if I need to try to be there for him.
Love it. I love it. And in that, because like I'm telling you, you convict me in a lot of that, because my ex-boyfriend, he would willingly like go to my non-denominational church, but the trade-off was, hey, you have to go to my Catholic church. And I would put up the biggest sting. I'm like really making myself sound horrible today, but
oh my God, you're such an amazing person, Dom. You don't need to talk bad about yourself like that.
But I'm like, I'd be like, we just went to mine. Like, is that not good enough? Like, what's the deal? But like, I didn't realize in what he was doing, like he was in a sense sacrificing for me. I don't want to say sacrifice, but he was like going to my church, and it's like I should have been more willing to be like, okay, like let me understand like what you see in going to your church, right? And I didn't do that in a lot of things. So like truly looking at you and Tony, because you guys do have a really beautiful relationship, I'm like, wow, like I'm learning a lot through you, and so thank you for that.
Of course. Like I don't think we have the 100% perfect relationship. Like I said, nothing's ever perfect. I just try my best to always treat him the way I want to be treated. Like cliche is all get up, but like that's how I feel. Like I always want to feel loved and cared for and supported and protected. So if I expect that my partner to do that for me, I want to do that for my partner.
I love that. So I'm going to dive into chapter 7, and then I'm going to read verses 1 through 4. It says, now regarding the questions you asked in your letter, yes, it is good to abstain from sexual relations. But because there is so much sexual immorality, each man should have his own wife, and each woman should have her own husband. The husband should fulfill his wife's sexual needs, and the wife should fulfill her husband's needs. The wife gives authority over her body to her husband, and the husband gives authority over his body to his wife.
Love it.
Really?
I love the part where it says that a wife can give her body to her husband and the husband gives her body to his wife. Like, as I'm very much of support of like give and take to equally to one another. Like I never want it to feel like I've never felt forced to do anything, or if it's sexual or not.
Right.
And I want to make sure Tony feels the same way as well. But I like how it's at least trying to be a little equal there. I feel like sometimes some Bible verses in my perspective can be a little more men dominate versus having a woman's actual equal perspective to things. Yeah. So I do like how it says that it should be equal on both ends with their bodies.
Yeah. No, I love that a lot. And I love how it literally pinpoints each man has his own wife, each wife has the own man, because definitely in the Old Testament, like King Solomon, for example, David's son, had like 1,000 wives back in the day.
Oh, okay.
So we're in the New Testament now, and we are making sure, like Ecclesiastes, when we did last season, like Solomon wrote that he had a bunch of wives. And so it's very clear that in the New Testament, it's saying like, hey, no, we're each equal. And I think something that's cool too is like your body is like kind of like your mind, soul, and spirit. Like when you give someone your body, like in a sense, you're kind of giving them like a piece of your soul in a weird way. Like it's like tethered in a sense. And so it's like you're truly, I don't know, you're just like embodying each other in a sense.
I do feel like it's a very strong physical connection. Like it's like a little bit of a connection to someone that you have, because obviously you don't give your body to everyone that you meet.
Right.
So it just feels more special. Like it's a smaller special connection that you have with someone if you choose to give your body to that person.
Yeah. Like it's very intimate.
Very.
You're literally getting into the nitty-gritties of me.
And it's vulnerable.
Yes.
It's very vulnerable. It's very intimate.
Okay, love that. So I'm going to continue reading. I'm going to do verses 5 through 7. It says, do not deprive each other of sexual relations unless you both agree to refrain from sexual intimacy for a limited time so you can give yourselves more completely to prayer. Afterward, you should come together again so that Satan won't be able to tempt you because of your lack of self-control. I say this as a concession, not as a command, but I wish everyone were single just as I am. Yet each person has a special gift from God of one kind or another. So I love this because I think it's basically saying like when you are married, have lots of sex. And then it says, don't deprive your person of sex. Like if they want sex, you give them sex. Like you are almost one body. Like if they want it, you give it. If you want it, they give it. So it's like, have lots of sex. But I like the context where it continues to say, we all lack self-control to an extent. I know I do. And so it's saying like, if you kind of refrain from your husband of having sex, we all are tempted and we all lack self-control to an extent. And then I think it allows Satan to kind of creep into those cracks and be like, hey, because sex is such an intimate thing with two people.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little bit different on my perspective, just because like I don't really feel like we ever would have a time where we'd have to put it on hold for prayer. I know that's just me.
Yeah, totally get it.
I don't pray on the daily. I'm so sorry. I know, not apologizing, but like
Don't have to be sorry.
It's just not me personally.
Right.
So it's like harder for me to like kind of really dive deep into that when it's like something I don't really practice on the daily. I do agree. Your husband and wife, I'm all in support of having a sex often. Like I feel like it's very healthy for the marriage. It keeps the connection. It keeps the spice alive. Like I'm very much in support of that. I feel like it could be almost interpreted in a little bit of a weird way where it's saying like, if your husband wants it, you have to give it to him in that second.
Okay.
I feel like if your husband wants it and you're like really just having a bad day, you're really not in the mood for it, like something is going on inside you that you can't really give him your 100%. I feel like there should be a little more leeway in that, and vice versa.
Right.
Like if your partner's had a really bad day and you're really in the mood and you really want it in that moment, I feel like it should be a respectful give and take, like for them to have the courage and the vulnerability with your partner to be like, hey, I love you. I love doing this with you, but I'm really just having a bad time right now and I can't give you my all in this moment.
Right.
And I feel like that could be it's hard but respectful, honestly. Like I'd much rather my partner tell me he's had a really hard day instead of just giving it to me 50% because he knows I want it. Like I know my partner will do it for me if I want it, obviously. Like we have that relationship, and vice versa. But like I feel like it's almost more special if you can have that talk and be like, hey, like I really don't have it in me today and I want to give you my all. And if I can't give you my all right now, I'd rather give you my all tomorrow. Sort of like, so I feel like that could be kind of a give and take in a moment as well too.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I think it goes back to communication, just communicating, like if for whatever reason you're not in the mood or that person's not in the mood, it's like, hey, this is why, it's not you. I have this going on. My mind's not in the right place. Like, can we pick this up in 2 days or 3 days or like whatever that looks like. And
then honestly, at that point, I feel like if your partner gives you that respect, at least in my sense, if I say that and he's like, oh yeah, of course, honey, like let's do this tomorrow, that almost can bring me back in the mood to it. And I'm like, you know what? You're so sweet. Let's do it now.
Actually, I love that response. That is so respectful. Get in here, honey.
Honestly, let me get on you.
No, that's very true. Instead of like being mean, angry, gaslighting, what the heck? Like, this is what the Bible verse says.
The Bible verse said if I want it, you have to give it to me right now.
You shouldn't refrain, sweetie. And that's when it becomes unhealthy.
Exactly.
Christians listening, Christian men, women, whatever it is.
You just got to communicate. And if you communicate in the right way, and you might get a little more lucky after the fact. I'm just saying. Absolutely.
I love that. I like too, and how verse 7 says, yet each person has a special gift from God of one kind or the other. And I just think it's special. For me, it gives me hope and faith. And I'm like, oh, there's a special gift somewhere. Like there is someone sculpted from God himself for me. And we're going to just fit perfectly. And things are going to be great. And then also, I think it's very funny too how Paul, I like literally wrote in my Bible, I'm like, really, Paul? When he said, but I wish every single one of us were single just as I am. And I'm like, huh.
It sounds like Paul's kind of bitter, and he's single, and he wants everyone to be single too because he's a little jealous.
Maybe. Like it didn't pan out. Like
like he couldn't find his love, and now he's kind of sad. So he's like, well, I don't want everyone else to have a love either. Like if I'm going to be single, like why can't they all be single with me?
Right. Spread the good news of God just like me. Like you don't have to get married.
Yeah.
I think
it sounds like he's kind of like trying to like support himself and like kind of like almost be like, hey, I'm single, so I'm going to make everyone else single with me. Or he could also be like, hey, I'm single. It's pretty fun over here. Like, you don't have to get into a marriage to be happy. I think it could go both ways. He could either be really bitter and he's trying to bring everyone down with him and be like, I'm single, so be single with me. Or he can be like, trying to empower and be like, I'm single, and it's fine to be single. Like, I'm happy, so you should be happy too.
I like that. That's a really good that's a really good perspective. I actually love that. Because I was like kind of, I was like, Paul, really? Like, what do you mean? Like
Paul,
everyone
why are you
needs to
saying
be
you want me to be single?
Yeah. What do you mean?
What the heck, Paul? It's
But
kind
I
of
like
rude.
that, like being content in your singleness, just like Paul is right now.
Yeah, if we're taking it from that side, if he's just trying to like empower and be like, hey, it's okay if you're single. I'm single too. Like, I'm having a great time. I've got God. You can have him too.
I like that a lot. Okay, well, I'm going to continue reading on. I'm going to do verses 8 through 11. It says, "So I say to those who aren't married and to widows, it's better to stay unmarried just as I am. But if they can't control themselves, they should go ahead and marry. It's better to marry than to burn with lust. But for those who are married, I have command that comes from not me, but from the Lord. A wife must not leave her husband, but if she does leave him, let her remain single or else be reconciled to him. And the husband must not leave his wife."
I don't know if I agree with all of that.
Okay, tell me why.
Well, I don't like how it is saying that a wife can't leave her husband, and only if she does, she has to be single after, or she has to go back to him. Like, I feel like there are so many abusive and terrible relationships to this day that, like, I feel like it's not fair to tell a woman that if she's a godly Christian that she's not allowed to leave, and if she does, then she's not allowed to love anyone else.
I 100% agree. Every relationship's different. I mean, you might be dealing with alcoholism, abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse. I mean, there's so many different scenarios. This is a very broad, high-level statement. So it's like very, very hard for me. I think like in a sense, it's Paul saying like you guys are bonded in the covenant of marriage. So like you guys have in a sense became one. Any of you guys want to leave, you need to like reconcile it and try to work it out and figure it out. But I 100% agree. If it's something so deep and dark, that probably should warrant to be separated.
For sure. And then also the point brought up about if they can't control themselves, it's better to marry than to burn with lust. I don't agree with that either. I feel like if someone is really in their point in their lives where they are giving in to lust and that's that passion and that's all they want and they don't have a love or bond with someone, I don't think they should get married. Like, I feel like if you're in that moment when you're single, like, I feel like a lot of us are if they're in college, if you're younger and you just want to experience a lot of people, I feel like it's better to everyone involved if you're just going to be single on your own and do that rather than to try to lock yourself down with someone else when you still have all these desires to be with others. I feel like that's not fair to the person they're going to marry if they're still constantly lusting over others.
Yeah, I mean, that's totally fair. I often wonder too, now that I'm looking at it, I'm like, I wonder if he's even talking about other people or if he's talking about a person. So like, let's say, for example, you and Tony had just met and like, in a sense, you probably like lusted. There was like a sense of lust. Like, you're like, oh my gosh, like I like him. He's hot. Like all these things. Right. And it's almost saying like, I wonder if Paul's saying instead of just like burning with lust and doing all the things, like why not just kind of get married, then do all the marital and sexual affairs after.
I can kind of see that. I feel like that's like kind of hard in today's age though, to just like jump into someone that you barely know or barely like, and you also want to like experience like a relationship with someone for a good period of time before you just want to commit to marriage. Like, I feel like marriage is, I only want to get married once. Like, I want to lock in, I want to be with that person forever. Like, I'm very loyal in that sense. So it's like, if I'm going to choose to get married to someone, I want to know the ins and outs of them. I want to know how they believe, how they react, how we deal with conflict, how we communicate. I want to know almost everything about you before I'm willing to say that we should get married.
Right.
So I feel like it's just harder because like I feel in the past people got engaged and married so young, so fast, so quick. And now today we're kind of taking it back a bit and being like, well, I don't have to get married right now. Like, I also like, I want to get to know my person. I want to be with my person for a long time before we fully commit to that. I don't know. I've been with Tony for 4 years now. I feel like there's no one else that I'd want to be with. There's nothing else I want to change now. So that's why I feel like now is the time, like I want to get married and just have that, not even like label, just like have that connection and have that strength with my relationship.
Right. Like the foundation of marriage.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people are now today are wanting a better foundation. And I think it's better long term, honestly.
Right. Whereas I think back then, well, I know back then they would genuinely get married first. In some cultures, it's kind of still like that. Like they'll arrange a marriage and then they figure out the rest later. Like it's almost like they marry and then they date. Whereas like in today's culture, we date, we figure them out. We'll even live together before we get married to be like, okay, is this my person or not? So it's like the difference of like building the plane while it's almost up in the air or like building the plane while it's down on the ground. And you have that foundation, just trying to like work it out before you take off.
For sure. I think it's just way more beneficial to just build your foundation, like you said now. Like in some cultures, it does work and those people live happily ever after.
Yeah.
And then there's some cultures you get into an arranged marriage and then you hate each other.
Right.
You find out fundamentally you just don't work, but now you're
Right.
locked into this marriage, this bind. And it is, no one wants to go through a divorce, whether it's arranged or not. Like that's never the goal for people. So I feel like it's just smarter, in my opinion, to really learn your person and want to commit to that person before you get married versus just getting married and hoping it works down the line.
Right. I think that's part of me why I signed up for Love is Blind.
Girl, your audition tape is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. I did film it. It was so fun. Oh my gosh. If they don't email you back, I'm going to be shocked. Like, you are such a good candidate for Love is Blind because you just truly do want love. I know you're laughing because your video is so funny. Like,
funny.
the pod, it's so funny.
I was like,
oh, you had sunglasses on and you ripped him off and you said, I'm ready to be blinded by love.
but I feel like I'm almost like, I almost need the crazy opposite. I need a crazy situation like Love is Blind to actually get engaged and get married, because it's like in my patterns of life, and I'm not the proudest of this, but last boyfriend, it's like you find all the flaws and the cracks. And I think for me mentally, that's when I'm like, oh, I gotta leave. He's not perfect. And it's like, I don't have that realization. Like, no one's perfect. You're never gonna marry Prince Charming. We're all flawed. We're all sinners. But I'm the type of person where I literally, which is so bad. It's so bad. But I'm like, oh gosh, like they do this weird quirk. Like, oh my gosh, I can leave because I'm not tethered to anything. Like, I'm not engaged. I'm not married. I'm going to peace out. Which in reality, like, that's a really bad mindset. And I need to be like, okay, like I should be more curious. Like, why do you do the things you do?
I
if I love this
genuinely
person.
think that it's just because you haven't found the right person yet.
Ooh, true.
I feel like when you've had your prior relationship, I feel like you internally kind of knew he wasn't going to be your forever. You didn't want him to. So I feel like that opened up your mind to start looking for the things that could have been wrong. Because I feel like when you're truly with your person, you're not looking for flaws. You're not looking for reasons to leave. You're looking for reasons to stay and things you love about that person. So I feel like with you, maybe you didn't know it. It took you a while to figure out, or maybe you still don't know. But I feel like something in your gut, something internally, you knew somewhere inside you that he wasn't the right person for you. So it kind of turned your mental to start looking for things, not as reasons, but just kind of as justification.
Okay.
Like, hey, like, yeah. I didn't really like that he did this thing. So maybe your intuition was like giving you a hint and making you think about those things. And instead you kind of internalized it and thought it was a you thing that you were looking for it. I think they were just happening as normal because he wasn't your person. And your intuition was telling you like, hey, this isn't the right guy for me. I need to find a way out.
That makes sense.
So I truly believe once you have your person, and I truly believe you're going to find the most perfect person for you, Dom. He's going to love you inside and out.
Yes.
But yes, I feel like once you find him, you're literally not even going to think about any flaws. Like, you're just going to be so happy and in love. And you're just going to focus on all the positives that he's going to bring to your life and all the positives you're going to bring to his.
Yeah. No, I love that. Do you think, so for someone that's maybe in a similar situation to me, maybe let's say they're dating someone and they don't know if they should get engaged to that person or not, like what advice would you give for them to almost discern whether they should be engaged or not?
I think the first part is just like knowing yourself, like having to sit back with yourself internally, like really dig deep and just kind of like be comfortable in your own skin and yourself and knowing what you want. And then taking a step back, looking at your partner, seeing what he's bringing for your life, seeing what you're bringing to his, seeing if you're just really a good match or not, and seeing if you're both benefiting. Like, I feel like when you find your person, you both start lifting up. Like, I feel like if you're in a sense where you feel like you're growing and you're changing and you're getting better and your partner's not really along the ride with you, I feel like it's kind of an internal, like, kind of warning, like, hey, like, maybe you're not the right person for him. Maybe he's not the right person for you. I feel like when you're with your person, you're just both just gaining positivity. You're both just getting better and stronger and growing and being better people in a better relationship. And I also feel like if you're at the point where you could potentially be getting engaged, if you're questioning if you're going to say yes, I feel like it's not the right one. Because I feel like if you're not an 100% yes, then you're probably a no, unfortunately, or it's just not there yet. Maybe the timing's wrong. Like, maybe, like, I'm not saying that person can't be your person in the next year or two, but if you're in the moment and you're really like thinking it's going to happen and you're having questions or doubts or fear at all, I feel like it's probably not the right time or not the right person.
Yeah. Like essentially because there's a lot of confusion there.
Yeah, and you shouldn't be confused about getting engaged.
Absolutely.
If your person's on one knee, you shouldn't have a thought in a second. It should be an instant yes.
Right. Yeah. Even Paul says it. You special gift from God. You'll know. Hopefully.
You'll know.
You'll know. You won't.
I think we all know.
Yeah.
I think we all know.
Did you know with Tony?
Yeah, I knew. Well, I knew not like from the jump.
Okay.
Because honestly, when me and Tony met, we didn't plan on dating. That was never the goal.
Okay.
Our communication was just like, hey, we like each other's vibe. Let's hang out. Okay. There was never an actual like instant like love match. Like, oh, we're gonna get married. Like it wasn't like an instant, oh, we're gonna start dating. We're gonna get married. Instant like, hey, I like you. I like you too. Let's hang out and see what happened. We put the literal zero pressure on anything. No, what's the word?
Would you say expectations?
Yes, there were no expectations. There was no pressure. It was very much just like, let's hang out. We like each other. We like, that's it. Let's just see what happens. From the jump, we very much were on board of like, we didn't want relationships in that moment. I think we were both just trying to benefit ourselves. Like I, at that point, was so set that I did not want a relationship. I didn't want a partner. I just wanted to grow in with me. I had just graduated college the year before. I was still stuck in my college town. I was very much just like trying to find the leg up and like to push myself to motivate to be better because I knew I wanted to be better. I was like, I'm in this little college town. I've got my degree now. I really want to start like doing better. I want to grow. I want to become this amazing, like successful person. And in that moment, I didn't want a boyfriend. I was like, I'm here for me. This is what I need. I just need to not be with anyone right now. I need to focus on myself. And same with him. He had just gotten back from his insane internship in California. He just came back to Ohio for college. This was his last semester. He very much was planning on leaving Ohio again.
Wow.
Like it was never like the set. He didn't want a girlfriend when we were in that moment either. His plan was to always, he was moving back out of Ohio. Like he loved to travel. His career, you can't do his career in Ohio, unfortunately. If you knew what he did, it's not available in Ohio.
Right.
So it was very much like he was planning on leaving. Neither of us were planning on locking into someone in that moment. And I think that's how it worked so well because we literally were just focused on ourselves. That sounds selfish, but like that's just where we are in that moment. And it just really kind of brought it together because there was no pressure that we had to date. We were just enjoying each other's company, and it just built into this crazy relationship.
I love that. It was almost like you weren't seeking in that moment like a boyfriend, a marriage, an engagement, all those things. Like there was no pressure on it, and it's like you attracted it easier.
Yes.
In a sense. No, you weren't throwing that out there.
Definitely. I was throwing the no one talk to me.
Repulsed.
Yes. I was like, no man come in my inner circle. I am bettering myself right now. But I'm so forever grateful that it did work out the way that it did.
I love that. Honestly, I just think like the timing is just everything in that too.
It really is.
But I also like to think too, timing is everything. But I truly feel like Tony's your person. You would have met him somewhere down the timeline as well.
I hope so, but honestly, in college, our apartments were 2 minutes away from each other for years, and we never crossed paths.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure I went to college parties in his houses, and we never talked.
Whoa.
Yeah, like when we finally met, and he was staying in my apartment, we went to his apartment, and it was a 2-minute walk. And we lived that close to each other for 3 years.
Wow.
We were in similar, not the same majors, but we had like similar cross paths. Like I had classes with his roommates.
Wow.
There were so many little things that we could have crossed lines prior to.
Right.
But I'm so happy we didn't.
Right.
Because I think prior to, we were both in different mental spaces and both lusting over others and never wanting that. So I think in that moment that we did, that was when we were meant to cross paths.
Yeah. No, 100%.
Like I very much think that like he is my person and that the way that we met was the reason it worked. Like if that was our moment, if it didn't happen then, it wasn't going to happen any other time. I truly believe.
Yeah. That's awesome. It's like the invisible line that led you to
the
point.
invisible string theory.
Yes,
literally. Like we were 2 miles apart for 3 years, just like so little interconnections that we had sort of met, but we never crossed paths until that night, and then we were never separated since then.
That is really crazy to think about. I think that's really neat though. Okay, this one's gonna be a big one, but I'm just gonna go for it and read it all. So I'm gonna do 12 through 28.
Ooh, okay.
Knock it all out.
Everyone take a sip.
Literally take a sip, breathe, deep breath, whatever you need, a prayer. It says, now I will speak to the rest of you. Though I do not have a direct command from the Lord, if a fellow believer has a wife who is not a believer, and she is willing to continue living with him, he must not leave her. And if a believing woman has a husband who is not a believer, and he is willing to continue living with her, she must not leave him. For the believing wife brings holiness to her marriage, and the believing husband brings holiness to his marriage. Otherwise your children would not be holy, but now they are holy. If the husband or the wife who isn't a believer insists on leaving, let them go. In such cases, the believing husband or wife is no longer bound to the other, for God has called you to live in peace. Don't you wives realize that your husbands might be saved because of you? And don't you husbands realize that your wives might be saved because of you? Each of you should continue to live in whatever situation the Lord has placed you, and remain as you were when God first called you. This is my rule for all the churches. For instance, a man who has circumcised before he became a believer should not try to reverse it. And the man who was uncircumcised when he became a believer should not be circumcised now. For it makes no difference whether or not a man has been circumcised. The important thing is to keep God's commands. Should I just stop there? That's a lot.
Yeah, I would say 28 is going to be a hike.
Yeah. So 12 through 19. I don't know. I think like the overall thing I got from this is that in a sense, whether your husband believes and maybe the wife doesn't, or the wife believes in God and the husband doesn't, because it's like in the covenant of marriage, like you're still saved in a sense. And like there's still an aspect of God within your marriage. So it's like we shouldn't leave each other. But if like one of them wants to leave, it's like, what are you going to do? Like distort them and like keep them there in a cage? Like God's saying like, hey, let them go. You can't force someone in the relationship.
Yeah, I do like that. I do. Because I mean, and personally, like in our circumstance, like Tony is a lot more of a believer than I am. But I still want to be there to support him and learn and try to be in that sense. So it just kind of agree that it sort of is like maybe God is within our relationship, our marriage, and to a sense as well. And then I do appreciate that it's like saying that if someone wants to leave, then they should be allowed to leave.
Yeah.
I just feel, I don't know. I really don't like anyone being forced or controlled or being stuck in a situation. Mm-hmm. Like, I just feel like everyone should be free to be themselves. And the person who's your person is going to love you for that one, no matter what.
I wrote down the question. I was like, if I was in a marriage and let's say my husband for whatever reason wasn't a believer, it's like putting myself in that situation, in that scenario of like, and he wants to go, like, wouldn't I want to try to save him and let him leave? But then it's also saying like, hey, maybe God's calling you to peace. You know, you tried your best. You were like a quote holy wife, and like now he's calling you to a different situation. You have to be content in it. It's interesting. Yeah,
I can kind of see that perspective a bit. I mean, more of like you said, like say you have a husband one day and he isn't a believer. So would you want to force him to stay with you, or would you let him leave to go somewhere else? And like I always try to like think of the reverse of it as well. Say you weren't a believer and your husband was, and he was really trying to bring you into something that like you just couldn't actually get your mind around. Mm-hmm. Like you just had a different belief than him. Would you still want him to like try to force you into what he believed in if you truly didn't?
Oh, I love that. I think that's where it get called into play of truly, if you embody a Christian, you would be patient, because like love is patience. Mm-hmm. So you wouldn't try to force God or religion or the Bible onto your significant other.
Yeah, like Tony has never tried to force religion on me at all. Like he's very much made it open, like, hey, if you don't feel comfortable coming with me, that is still okay. I just really, I want to go and go to it this day. Right. Like I really want to go, like hear the verses this day. I want to get into this church. I want to get into this family, this group. I just want to feel something in this moment. But he's never pressured me to go with him. So I think that's where I felt welcome to, I want to be there with you. Like it changes it from feeling like you need to be there for your person and you can almost like resent having to do that for them. Instead, it was more of an open like conversation, like, hey, like I believe in this. I want to go to church this day. Do you want to come with me? And if it was up to me if I wanted to or not. So in that moment, say if I said no, I never felt like it would be held against me in that sense. So that's what kind of wanted me to like go and experience it with him again, just support him.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think that's exactly what love is, because when you try to force it on someone, that's now becoming more sinister of like control and selfishness, and you're going to do this because I'm doing this, and it becomes something that it shouldn't be. Mm-hmm.
It changes the narrative.
Yes. Yes. Okay. I'm going to read 20 to 28. I love these verses. So it says, yes, each of you should remain as you were when God called you. Are you a slave? Don't let that worry you. But if you get a chance to be free, take it. And remember, if you were a slave when the Lord called you, you are now free in the Lord. And if you were free from the Lord called you, you are now a slave of Christ. God paid a high price for you, so don't be enslaved by the world. Each of you, dear brothers and sisters, should remain as you were when God first called you. Now regarding your question about the young women who are not yet married, aka me and Audra, I do not have a command from the Lord for them, but the Lord in his mercy has given me wisdom that can be trusted, and I will share it with you. Because of the present crisis, I think it is best to remain as you are. If you have a wife, do not seek to end the marriage. If you do not have a wife, do not seek to get married. But if you do get married, it is not a sin. And if a young woman gets married, it is not a sin. However, those who get married at this time will have troubles, and I am trying to spare you those problems. So I love this. I think this spoke to me a lot given my current circumstance. So I've been a little boy crazy, as Taylor knows, this like past month, past last couple months. Like I'm always like, we'll go out shopping. I'm like on the hunt. I'm on the prowl for cute men. And I think that's where I'm kind of wrong, where I'm like lusting after the idea of marriage and I'm lusting after my dream engagement. And I think that's where it almost becomes sinful because I'm not being content with where God has called me right now in the moment and that he is calling me to singleness. There's parts of me that still need healing from past relationships. There's parts of me that needs to work on myself and like what I'm currently doing in my life before I think I truly am even ready for marriage. Like I don't think tomorrow I'd be like, yep, I'm ready to walk. I think there's a lot of me that still needs process and healing. And I think I can get that through God. And so when I read this, I was like, dang, I love it. Because it's saying like, hey, you know, you can get married, that's fine, it's not a sin, but like let's say because I'm lusting after the idea of marriage so much, I could go find a guy right now to go marry me. But it's saying like, no, we're trying to save you those marital issues and those problems because that's not your person. So like don't lust after this idea. I loved how he said in verse 23, God had paid a high price for you, so don't be enslaved by the world. And I think that spoke to me in the sense of everyone who's my age or around my age right now is engaged, they're married, and a lot of my friends have children. And so I feel like I'm almost an outlier of the world. Like, oh my goodness, I'm not in the patterns. Like I'm losing time. Like, oh my gosh, my friends are out having kids. I want to make sure I have a kid when my friend has kids so they can play and they can be, and I just have to remember like, no, I need to be content with where God has me. And it's for my protection. And because let's say I go date a guy and I'm like, okay, let's rush this. Let me get married to you. It's like, no, Dom, slow down. He's probably not your person. And I'm trying to save you from essentially a bad marriage.
I do agree. I do think it's nice to like try to like, it's kind of like calling you to like reflect and just kind of be okay with your internal singleness at the moment. Like, and it is really hard, I will say, with like all the pressures of the world around you and today. Like you said, when you see all of your friends doing this and that, and it just, you feel like you're getting left behind. And that it really is a hard thing to kind of grasp around because like we said before, everyone's timeline is different. But with all the pressures of everyone around you, it feels like you need to rush your timeline. Like it feels like you're doing something wrong. Like you start to turn on yourself instead of realizing in the moment, like, hey, this just isn't my time yet. I always had to tell myself it's going to be my turn soon. Like just kind of like just trying to focus on where I am now. And that like, I just knew that I would have my love one day. It was just hard to be patient for a while, like kind of internally, like realizing when you see everyone in social media doing all these amazing things, having an amazing relationship, wedding, marriage, child, this whole family. And it's just hard to not compare. Like it all comes back to comparison like we talked about before. Like it is really hard. But I do think it's nice that it's at least encouraging to like just be within yourself. If you're single, hey, you're single. Yeah. And like you said, to not rush into anything because yes, Dom, you're a smoke show and you're a catch. So you could marry someone on the sidewalk right now and they would probably love you forever, but like that just could not be your person. Right. And like we said about building a foundation, like a lot of people do rush to get married, I feel like. And I feel like when they do rush like that, you kind of lose all the chance to find the foundation to build, to find if you guys have differing beliefs, because you can't talk about everything and learn your person back to front in a couple weeks, a couple months. Like it takes time to really build. And if you don't do that, I feel like you're most likely going to have some problems down the line. Like some people don't. Some people, when you know, they're meant to be and they have this beautiful, flourished love and relationships. But that's very rare. And at times I feel like people jump into things and they start rushing and then they have regrets later. So I feel like you're where you're meant to be right now, girl. That's where I think.
I love it. No, I love everything you said too. It's truly, I think too, when it says, you know, you should remain as when God first called you. And it's like kind of a theme throughout this chapter, but it's truly saying like, if you live in the moment, you live in the now, and you're truly content with where you're at, like even you, like you're like, I'm not looking for a boyfriend right now, or like, I'm content in me. I want to focus on me. In a sense, like that's exactly when things like that will happen.
Yes, like even in like the smallest like moments, like I feel like we all have the moment where like you finally get over a guy. Like say you broke up years ago, but you still have like thoughts of him here and there. And the second you finally get over them, that's when they text you.
Yes.
That's when you get the messages. It's like they finally know that you finally don't want them anymore. And that's when they want you. And like with Tony, the moment I was finally like done, I was like, no, what? I don't want any guys right now. Like I'm happy. I don't want a boyfriend. Here comes my boyfriend.
Right. Like when you're truly happy and at peace in your contentment in the moment, it's like, that's when God's like, well, here you go. Here's your special gift.
It's literally, that's the key. As soon as he sees you that you're just focused on yourself and you don't want anyone else, that's when your person's going to come.
I love that. You're just truly content with like where God has you at in life.
And then
he's like, get the gift, my darling. Here you go. Enjoy him. Love you.
It's like always that saying used to infuriate me when I was single, and it was like, it'll come when you're not looking for it. That used to make me so angry. I'd be like, how am I supposed to find it if I'm not looking for it? Like, how am I want this dream man. How am I supposed to have him if I'm not looking, if I don't put myself out there? And then of course, the moment I wasn't looking is when it came. So I had to bite my tongue and eat that a little bit and be like, okay, I guess you were right.
It's true. You are not the first person to say that. So I believe
I was told it too many times when I was single, and it just made me so mad.
Me too. And I think like the part of me that like it makes me so mad is because I know it's true, and I'm just not there in that mind space.
Yeah, you're just not mentally there yet. So you're like, I'm trying, okay? I'm trying to get there, but right now I still see a cutie down the road, so it's really hard to not think about it.
So let me lust after him and like leave me alone. Yeah.
I'm not ready yet, so I'm gonna go lust real quick, and we'll come back. Hopefully I'm ready next month.
You literally me. Okay, so I think I'm gonna just try to read the rest of it. So I'm gonna read the rest of chapter 7. I'm gonna do verses 29 through 39. So we're gonna do a whole whopping 10 verses. It says, but let me say this, dear brothers and sisters, the time that remains is very short. So from now on, those with wives should not focus only on their marriage. Those who weep or who rejoice or who buy things should not be absorbed by their weeping or their joy for their possessions. Those who use these things of the world should not become attached to them, for this world as we know it will soon pass away. I want you to be free from the concerns of this life. An unmarried man can spend his time doing the Lord's work and thinking how to please him. But a married man has to think about his earthly responsibilities and how to please his wife. His interests are divided. In the same way, a woman who is no longer married or has never been married can be devoted to the Lord and holy in body and in spirit. But a married woman has to think about her earthly responsibilities and how to please her husband. I am saying this for your benefit, not to place restrictions on you. I want you to do whatever will help you serve the Lord best, with as few distractions as possible. But if a man thinks that he's treating his fiancée improperly, will inevitably give it into his passion, let him marry her as he wishes. It is not a sin. But if he has decided firmly not to marry and there is no urgency, he can control his passion. He does well not to marry. So the person who marries his fiancée does well, and the person who doesn't marry does even better. A wife is bound to her husband as long as he lives. If her husband dies, she is free to marry anyone she wishes, but only if he loves the Lord. But in my opinion, it would be better for her to stay single, and I think I am giving you counsel from God's Spirit when I say this. Whew!
That was a lot.
So I'm going to back it up. I'll go to... So 29 through 31 talks about earthly possessions. Things of this world pass away, so like don't be attached to your earthly possessions is kind of pretty much what it's saying. Like any materialistic items, like these are things of the world, and so they don't matter. Like they don't matter in your marriage, they don't matter in life. Those things are come and go.
I feel like it's saying that you should say within say you and your partner, like somehow for some reason someone loses their job, and now you have to live your life in a different way because you're not having the same income as usual, and you say you might have to sell something that you really love to be able to keep your life going as it was, to keep your house, your family. I feel like it's just trying to say that like the earthly possessions shouldn't be what's entangling you and holding you to your person. Like if your person has money now, you should love them if they didn't. Like that's just kind of how I'm taking it as.
No, that's really good. I didn't even think of that. But yeah, that's a really good point. Like, hey, am I trying to find a sugar daddy?
Yeah, like it's
going to be
for a
easier
while
on this earth, right?
Yeah, but they lose all their money. Do you still love them?
I like that a lot. Or am I marrying because like I truly unconditionally love them for their soul? And it's not about if they have a house, the earthly check marks, house, 401k, nice car. I mean, I definitely lust after those things, good job. And it's in reality like, hey, maybe, maybe it doesn't look like the way you thought it would, or it's not like the earthly check marks you desire. Maybe you're lusting after the wrong things.
Typical like wedding like vows before you say I do, like in sickness and health, for richer or poorer. Like you have to love your person in any time of life that they're in.
That's good. I like that. That is probably why he prefaces that way. I love verse 32. It says, I want you to be free from the concerns of this life. Like, we truly have so much freedom when we have God. I'm not worried about my job anymore. I'm not worried about how much money I make, what car I drive. Like, I truly feel like I have that freedom. But when people live for the world, that is their forefront focus. And I think that could be so exhausting.
For sure. And then you can just you just lose the plot so easily.
So easily. It's like, well, I lost everything, but I'm okay because it doesn't matter. It's just of this world, right? Like, it's okay. I got God. It's all that matters. So in a sense, like, you're so free. And I'm not saying like be lazy, don't work hard, but life literally passes away. Okay, so verse 35, I liked a lot too. It says, I want you to do whatever will help you serve the Lord best with as few distractions as possible. It's almost saying, hey, God's not the forefront anymore. Like, you have to make sure your wife is pleased or like your husband's pleased. Like, you have a holy commitment in a sense. And when it says do whatever serves the Lord best, I think that's amazing because in a lot of ways, I've seen a lot of married couples do incredible things for the Lord as well. So it's like truly when you're in that union of marriage, yes, separately, I'm on fire for God. I want to do the podcast. This is what my life looks like. I go to church every Sunday. But when I'm with a significant other, let's say I'm married to him, like, what does that look like? Like, how are we serving the Lord? Like, how are we doing it as a union? Like, how are we doing that together? And what does that look like? Because I think a lot of times it shifts from a more narrow-minded approach, at least for me. Like, when I get married, like, what are we gonna do to ensure that we're still serving the Lord? Is that like volunteering at church? Is it talking to someone on the side of the road? Like, what does that look like? And I think that's really interesting that he brought that up. What are your thoughts? You got anything fun?
I'd say when they talk about if a man's treating his fiancée improperly and will inevitably give into passion, let him marry her as he wishes. I feel like, again, goes back to if someone's already, if it's literally saying if he's treating her improperly and he's going to cheat, he should marry her anyway. I feel like that I can't really get on board with.
Yeah, honestly, that's fair.
And then stating that, like, but if he's decided firmly not to marry and there's no urgency that he can control, he does well not to marry. I feel like that's kind of contradictory. So first it's saying if he will inevitably give into his passion, he should still marry her. But then it says if he's decided firmly and there's no urgency that he can control his passion, he shouldn't marry her. I feel like it's like both saying he's going to give in either way, but it's giving different endings. I'm in support if he's saying that he can't control himself and he's not ready to marry, in my opinion. And I don't think that should become a thing. Should not get married. Also, when it gets down to 39, it's saying like if a wife's bound to her husband as long as he lives, if her husband dies, she's free to marry anyone she wishes, but only if he loves the Lord. I'm just in support because like I'm not as you said, I'm not a devout Christian. I feel like it shouldn't be told that if my husband passes away that I can only marry someone who loves the Lord. Like, I'm not saying I wouldn't, but I'm saying what if I find someone who treats me amazingly and perfect and gives me all the love in the world, but he's not a Christian? Are you saying I shouldn't fall for my love or marry the person I want to just because he doesn't believe?
Right. But his actions embody like essentially what a Christian would be. Yeah. It's like, so is that going to hold me back? Paul is very brash. Like, when he says these things, I'm like, whoa, like, that's very strict, right? Like, you're telling me my husband dies, I can't go marry the next love of my life? Like, what do you mean? Just because he's not Christian? But then a part of me thinks, given the circumstance, like, let's say you're a widow and you lost your husband, like, truly moving forward, is he saying that for protection of, like, a Christian can truly understand this circumstance and, like, love you even though you had married and loved someone else? Like, I often wonder when I dive deeper, like if I had to sit down with Paul, I'd be like, hey, like what the heck do you mean by this? Like what if he embodies a Christian? Like I shouldn't marry him?
Yeah,
like is this like set in stone? Like what are we talking about here?
Is this a deal breaker? Like if I meet the love of my life after my husband dies and he's the most perfect man I could ever embody and vision, but he's not a Christian, are you saying I shouldn't follow that path just because of that?
Right.
I feel like that's like too strict of a deal breaker for someone.
And then a part of me is like, well, maybe because like let's say they pass and essentially I can only imagine you're still going to grieve the loss of that loved one. Would a Christian be more understanding and empathetic to that, knowing that this is like in the Bible, knowing that as a husband they have to serve their wife? Would that be an aspect of it, why he's being so brash and like, hey, they have to be Christian?
Maybe. You know Paul better than I do.
I don't know. Paul, I gotta call you up, buddy. Like I'm not sure. I don't know. It's interesting because it adds another layer, because just earlier we were talking about like, hey, it's okay, like if you married someone and you're a holy wife, he doesn't have to be Christian, right? But then it's saying, oh, but if you're widowed, you have to then
now
go
you
find
have to find a Christian. Yeah.
So it's like, okay, so this aspect of you losing your late husband, your first husband, whatever it looks like, he's now putting in the sense, okay, but now you have to go marry a Christian. And I think that's interesting. Like I think contextually I'm like,
Yeah, I'm just like thinking, I'm like, what makes that different?
Yeah. Like, so this scenario specifically makes it different then. Yeah, when you brought up, but if a man thinks he's treating his fiancée improperly and will inevitably give into his passion, let him marry her as he wishes. It is not a sin. But if he has decided firmly not to marry and there is no urgency and he can control his passion, he does well not to marry.
See, that
so it's
does not make sense.
contradictory,
yeah.
right? But I think if I had to guess, because I honestly am kind of like, he made sure to say it is not a sin. So I think he's trying to drill in, because this is another repetitive scripture where it says, it is not a sin to marry, it is not a sin to marry. So I think it's even saying, like, even if fiance treats someone horribly and they still go forward and get married, it doesn't make the marriage a sin. Like, I think what Paul's trying to convey maybe is that in no aspect, even if the fiance is horrible and you still get married, is that marriage bad or a sin? Because like marriage is this beautiful, sacred thing. I wonder if that's what he's trying to portray by like using two opposites.
Maybe. It kind of feels like he's just trying to give bad fiancés an excuse.
If you had to describe marriage in your own terms, what does that look like for you?
This was one of the Love is Blind's questions.
Was it? It was. It was on the application.
It was on the Love is Blind application. In case you listeners were wondering, it's one of the questions. There's like 100 questions for that questionnaire.
That's so funny.
I think it's just like the full commitment to your person. Like I genuinely feel like just being with Tony now, I feel like we're already fully committed. Like I feel like the label of marriage isn't really going to change our relationship, but I feel like it's more of just like the full commitment to your partner. Like you're both agreeing that we're each other's person. We want to be with each other forever. It's just like the final stamp on the relationship, how I kind of feel it as. Okay. Like I feel like the love's not really going to change when you get married versus not, but I feel like it's just more of like the commitment, the confidence with your person. Like it's like we confidently chose each other. Like it's just kind of giving you the final knowledge that you guys really want to be with each other forever. It's just like the final like step to me in thinking that like this is my person, this is what I want to be, this is who I want to be with forever, this is who I want to do my life with, who I want to build my family with. Just kind of like the final little check on a relationship.
Yeah. Would you say you love Tony unconditionally?
Unconditionally is a hard word. No, yes, I generally do. I feel like, I don't know when you say like, what do you mean unconditionally? Like you're saying if he does something terribly to me and I'm still going to love him, or what do you mean?
I don't know. It's a hard question. I always ask all my married friends this because I'm like, at what point is it grounds for like someone to leave? Which is a horrible question. Like I don't want you to answer that, but like I don't know, just like with all his quirks, like who he is as a person, like,
okay,
as he is now, like he's yes, a great guy. 100%. Like he's not gonna go start doing anything crazy.
Yes,
so, like,
if you mean do I love him wholly as we are now? Yeah. Yes, 1,000%. Yeah, I love everything about him, all his little quirks, his ins and outs. Yeah. Yes, 100%.
But like if he does anything like cheating, That's where I step in, Tony. No.
We're talking to you directly, Tony.
That's where I come in and work some things out, you know.
We'll have to have a few talks.
But so chapter 8, I know we're supposed to do chapters 7 and 8, talks about food sacrifice to idols. I'm not going to read it. It talks about essentially like if you, in modern terms, like back then they're talking about like if you go to a pagan church or a pagan situation and they sacrifice meat to God, this is where the Bible takes like, you know, it's like some older contextual. So essentially back then pagans would sacrifice certain meats to God, and you're Christian and you show up and Christians would be like, well, these gods aren't real. Like we believe in our one true God. He's real. So it doesn't really matter. It's saying like, okay. And Paul kind of differentiates the difference between having that knowledge as a Corinthian, but also having love and like what love looks like and fully knowing something is wrong or not the best to do, and then how to go about it in a loving way. It's very interesting. I think it's portraying, I think it's even in verse 9, it talks about, but you must be careful so that your freedom does not cause others with a weaker conscience to stumble. It's saying like you're free in Christ, but if you lead someone into sin or you lead their consciousness into sin, causing them to stumble with you or like to stumble, and that's not showing love. Like you want to lead a person not into sin, or like if they're conducting themselves wrong, it's like, hey, you know, if I'm doing something wrong, I would hope someone loves me enough to be like, hey Dom, you shouldn't be eating meat from this temple or whatever it looks like in modern day. Or like it's like, hey, you have the knowledge to know this is wrong and like this isn't what you're about as a Christian. And it's showing like, hey, make sure you're not like bringing others into it, like, hey, it's fine, it's cool, we're not going to judge them. It's like saying like, hey, no, if you truly love someone, like make sure they're conducting themselves in a proper way and like you're not leading them to stumble into something bad or sinful.
Do you think it's trying to say that like if someone chooses to sin, it's worse for that sinner to then peer pressure someone else to sin with them?
You are wisdom, girl. You are wisdom. Yes, that's exactly it. It's like saying, because even in verse 11, so because of your superior knowledge, a weak believer for whom Christ died will be destroyed. Someone who has all this knowledge, and maybe you bring in like what they call like a new believer or a new Christian, and you're causing them to sin along with you, but you have the knowledge what you're doing isn't right. It's like, it makes things worse.
Yeah, because you're like, you already know all the knowledge, you know what to, you already have this beliefs, you have everything in the background, and someone you're bringing in doesn't. You're knowably just bringing them down with you, and they don't even have the will or the knowledge to know what they're giving up, I guess, in a sense. Yeah. Like you're just pulling them deeper into something that they didn't even know was not that bad, but like it's just basically like if you're in your hole, you're dragging someone down with you and they don't even know. It's an unwilling peer pressure.
No,
unwitting
100%.
Peer pressure.
Yeah. No, I love that. Yeah, verse 12. And when you sin against other believers by encouraging them to do something they believe is wrong, you are sinning against Christ. It's like peer pressuring them, like, go ahead, take that joint. Or like, hey, man.
You sound like a DARE officer. Yeah. Those little DARE skits where they're like, hey, come do drugs in the bathroom with me.
It's like, hey, man, come do it.
Hey, little Timmy, I got some cocaine.
Come on, man. You know you want to do it. And it's like, no, man, I don't want to do it. But you're like, come on, man.
Come on, you're not cool if you don't do this.
Right. But you have the knowledge. You're like, yeah, Timmy knows it's wrong. I know it's wrong, but I want him to do it. And it's like, essentially, you're sinning against God, too, when you're doing that. So, shouldn't do it. But,
yeah, I feel like
let me see.
that Corinthians 8 is kind of hard to understand as someone who's not read the Bible through in and out and knowing about idols and all of that. I kind of was reading it, and I was kind of confused. I was very much like, wait, what are we talking about, idols? And then it was like, if you make someone eat meat, I'll never eat meat again as long as I live, because I don't want to bring someone down. And it was like, okay, I kind of don't really know how to interpret that one.
Right. It's like, it's funny because it's like, it kind of lingers like from how the old days. So some of my commentary that I wrote down was that the meat offered on pagan altars was divided into 3 portions. 1 portion was burnt in honor of the god. 1 portion was given to the worshiper to take home and eat, and the 3rd was given to the priest. And if the priest didn't want to eat the portion, they would sell it at the temple restaurant or meat market. And so I guess a lot of Christians would go to the meat market, and it was generally cheaper too, like this meat at these pagan altars, and they would go, I guess, purchase that meat. And it's like, but you know where it's coming from.
So they all did know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I guess they had the knowledge, and this is like what I read from commentary, so contextually they had the knowledge, they knew it was coming from that, but it was cheaper. So it's almost like a temptation of like, well, this meat's cheaper, but I know what it was used for, so I know it's wrong.
Okay, so like you said that, but what if someone is very poor and they can't afford anything else? Does that mean they're sinning for being poor and that's all they can afford to live?
Well, I think a lot of it, when it comes to stuff like that, like God knows your heart's desires, and so I like to think that God knows your situation, and he's like, okay, like he's not gonna,
like, it's not considered as much of a sin if it's all you can afford to survive. Like, you think he's all well knowing and he knows that, like, okay, this person's only eating this because they don't have another choice.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I think it's all about that, but then maybe you sin and buy that meat having knowledge it's from that altar, but then maybe you peer pressure other people to eat it, and that's when it becomes even greater of a sin.
It's like, say you already know where it came from, and there's a new guy in town, and you're telling him, hey, this is where to get the cheapest meat. He has no idea, no context of it. Now you're peer pressuring someone else to eat this sinful meat, and they have no idea.
Right.
And now they're eating this without the knowledge of where it came from.
But in your heart and soul, you know what you just did.
You know. Like,
and
you
God
know.
knows.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's all-knowing. So it's like you're sinning against not only the, quote, like, weaker believer, but you're sinning against God as well, because you're doing that wittingly. It's influencing a weak brother to go against their own conscience. And then if you're trying to get someone to go against their own conscience, because, like, their own intuition is essentially like what I like to call the Holy Spirit, is like when I have that gut feeling and it's something's telling me something's wrong. Some people call it intuition. I call it like, no, that's God like giving me the warning of like, no, your body's not wrong. Like that gut intuition, normally right.
You always gotta trust your gut, girl.
So it's like one of those. It's like, don't misuse your liberty and like don't misuse your freedom in God to do things like that. That's when it becomes really, really bad.
Yeah, I feel like this one can definitely be like more vaguely interpreted. It's just bad to peer pressure others if you know what you're doing is wrong. That's my overarching thing about Corinthians 8.
Yes. The whole meat thing.
Yeah, it takes it to a weird place.
I love it. Yeah,
like,
it kind of does.
Yeah, like I'm not putting any meat on idols anytime soon, so I'm going to vaguely interpret this.
Yes, I love it. Well, since you're a guest on the pod, we ask all our guess what their heaven looks like. So I'm curious, what do you think even happens when we die? And like, what if you had to interpret your heaven or like where you go, what does that look like?
I feel like it's hard to like picture like a specific place. Like I feel like I can picture like things or like things that I want to be there. Like I want like my loved ones to be there with me. I want my dogs. If my dogs aren't in my heaven, it's not my heaven. I love my dogs.
Hey, biblically, dogs go to heaven.
Biblically, I'm be there waiting for you. But no, I need my friends and family, my dogs, probably just like really good food. I want to be able to not ever think about money again. Like, I feel like just like the thought of just being like, if I want something, it's there. I can have it. But like not in a greedy way. Like not in the thing that I want everything, but just like not having like the mindset of like not being able to afford things or like not being able to have something due to another reason. Like just being able to have that, like being able to just like grab something or just like have something appear in front of me because I want it. Like you're allowed to want things in heaven, I think.
Yeah.
Have all the best food, have all the best drinks. And just, I feel like at that point, it doesn't matter where I am. Like, maybe on, like, a little rocking chair on a porch somewhere. Like, there's a little river next to me or, like, a sunset. Just, like, something eternally peaceful.
I love that.
With the people around me that I love. And my dogs.
Yeah, I love that. Okay. Well, thanks for coming on, Taylor.
Thanks for having me.
You crushed it.
Thanks. I was very nervous, so hopefully I didn't sound too weird.
Oh my gosh, no, you crushed it, trust me. You did amazing.
Thank you.
You were wisdom. You were literally wisdom.
Girl, you're my wisdom, so
girl, I try.
Girl, you're doing it.
Now time to go shopping.
Yes.
But before, I will go ahead and pray you out.
Oh, thank you.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for bringing Taylor onto the podcast. Lord, I am so grateful that both her and Tony met. They are an incredible couple, and I can't wait to see what you have in store for them. Lord, continue to guide them and bless them in all that you do, and bless Taylor with the rest of her life. And in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.